You're not going to believe what we've got today. So get comfortable, smash that like button, subscribe, and let's get right into it. Because something is brewing in Santa Clara that starts as a small update and can end up deciding how this whole playoff run feels. There's one helmet you absolutely want back on the field. There's a trade rumor floating around that would shake the division if it ever turned real. And there's one overlooked unit that might be the secret weapon nobody's talking about yet. So here's my question to the faithful right out of the gate. Do you trust this team to stay smart under pressure? Or are you still waiting for the other shoe to drop? This week opened with that moment every fan knows. Your stomach drops, the camera finds the sideline, and the guy you never want to see standing still is holding his helmet instead of wearing it. The word everyone feared was right there: ankle. And in the NFL, that word can mean anything from no big deal to there goes the season. The difference is, this time, the news came with a crack of daylight. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported that George Kittle is dealing with a mid to low ankle sprain. It's not good, but it's not the dreaded high ankle sprain that can steal a month and linger even longer. Kittle even hinted post-game that he felt like he avoided the worst, and this report backed that up. That doesn't guarantee he plays. What it does is keep the door open, and in December and January, that's everything. Kyle Shanahan basically confirmed the same vibe. Kittle isn't practicing, but Shanahan said, he's got a chance, so we're not ruling him out. And here's what makes Kittle different. He's one of the few guys who can miss practice all week and still suit up on Sunday night. If you've watched him long enough, you know why. His value isn't just catches. It's the way defenses have to treat him like a problem that can't be ignored. Safeties shade inside. Linebackers hesitate. The red zone picture changes because his presence forces respect. But there's also a real risk here, and you can feel it in the fan base. Some people are screaming, if he can go, he plays. This is Sunday Night Football. Others are saying, protect him for January. And that's the tug of war. The short-term win versus the long-term ceiling. That's why this week matters so much. Shanahan also addressed the hip drop tackle that had the comments section on fire. He said it wasn't as obvious as the one on Ricky Pearsall the week prior, but admitted it's debatable, which is coach speak for, yeah, I saw it. And the league can talk all day about safety rules. Faithful only cares about one thing. Does it cost you your playmakers when it matters most? The rest of the injury notes brought a little relief. Linebacker Tatum Bethune isn't on the injury report. Shanahan said he zinged it like people do with high ankle sprains, but felt good the last 2 days, so he's good to go. Edge rusher Yetur Gross-Matos isn't practicing, but Shanahan called it maintenance from the same thing all year, not a new problem. And corner Renardo Green and receiver Ricky Pearsall are expected to be limited. Shanahan mentioned they're going half speed, which should help Pearsall handle most of the work. Now, that would already be enough for 1 week, right? Except there's a hypothetical floating around the league that has people arguing like it's a real negotiation, when it's not. Yet. The buzz. The 49ers could explore a trade package built around Mac Jones plus draft picks to pursue elite pass rusher Maxx Crosby. Let's be clear, this is not confirmed talks. It's a scenario gaining traction among analysts and fans, but it fits where San Francisco is right now, January focused and not afraid of bold ideas. Crosby is one of the most relentless edge rushers in football. He doesn't just pressure quarterbacks, he collapses game plans. That matters because in the playoffs, you don't get many clean drives. 1 or 2 negative plays can flip a quarter, and an edge rusher like Crosby creates those moments without you having to gamble with blitzes. So why would Mac Jones be in the conversation? Because Mac has rebuilt his value in a QB-friendly system and looks like a legitimate trade asset again. And from Las Vegas's side, quarterback questions change everything. A QB with starting experience can buy time, while a franchise decides whether it's drafting, developing, or resetting. That's how these weird hypotheticals start to make sense when you step back and look at timelines. But here's the wall you run into. Crosby is the cornerstone of that defense. The Raiders have zero obligation to move him. Any conversation starts expensive. Multiple premium picks, plus real value. And it only moves if both sides think they're winning. That's why this stays hypothetical for now. Still, I want your honest take. Would you even consider paying the price if it means changing the entire pass rush overnight? Because that's not just a roster move. That's a statement. And while everybody argues about stars, Mike Sando of The Athletic pointed to the biggest difference in this season's results coming from the least glamorous place, special teams. Think about last year versus this year. Injuries both seasons, but last year was 6-11. This year they're 11-4 with 2 to play. When the roster gets banged up, the hidden stuff gets louder. Field position, clean operation, and free points. The 49ers have gotten significant special teams plays all season. Luke Gifford made the Pro Bowl because he consistently swings field position. Sometimes you don't notice it until you realize the offense keeps starting closer and the opponent keeps starting deeper. John Weeks, the long snapper, also made it, and that's a sign the punt and kick operation has been clean. No chaos, no wasted downs, no self-inflicted wounds. And yes, they upgraded at kicker. They moved on from Jake Moody to Eddie Pinheiro. Sando's point is that Pinheiro has made more kicks than expected, while opponents have missed more than expected. And that gap has been one of the biggest differences year over year. Then you add the return game. Sky Moore was an alternate, and in just 2 games he's already flipped field position hard enough to put the offense near scoring range. Add in that fumble recovery against the Colts that set up a score, and you get the simplest playoff truth. Special teams can spot you points without your offense earning them the hard way. And in January, any points you can steal are worth gold. Now zoom out to the standings because this is where it gets real. The 49ers are 11-4 with 2 games to go, and the setup is almost perfect, if they finish the job. Early on, this season looked shaky. Veterans left, the secondary got younger, and injuries piled up. Long-term issues to Kittle, Pearsall, and even QB1 Brock Purdy, plus plenty more across the roster. Then the gut punch. Nick Bosu and Fred Warner, world-class players, suffered season-ending injuries in weeks 3 and 6. Warner going down at the heart of the defense felt like the moment everything could collapse. It didn't. The 49ers have lost only 2 games since Warner's injury and are on a 5-game winning streak. And Robert Saleh deserves a ton of credit for keeping the defense functional when it mattered. And now, thanks to how the NFC West shook out, the number 1 seed isn't just a fantasy. After the Seahawks beat the Rams, it became clear the 49ers had a path. Then San Francisco beat the Colts 48-29 on the road, and the math got loud. Beat the Bears and the Seahawks in the final 2 games, and you can clinch it. They already beat Seattle in Week 1, but the Seahawks have lost only 2 games since, so that finale has playoff rehearsal written all over it. If the 49ers grab the top seed, they get the bye, they get recovery time, and they keep everything running through Levi's Stadium. The last 2 times they held the number 1 seed in the NFC, they reached the Super Bowl. And this year, with the Super Bowl hosted at Levi's, the motivation is obvious without anyone even saying it. The path is literally at home. And here's the part that should make every 49ers fan sit up straight. The next 2 games aren't just about getting in. They're about setting the whole bracket. A top seed means a week off to get bodies back, especially when you've been living in the injury report all year. It means you're not traveling. It means the pressure shifts to everybody else. And it means your opponents have to walk into Levi's and beat you in your house. That's why the Kittle decision hits different. Sunday night against the Bears is the kind of game where one star can swing 2 or 3 snaps that decide everything. 1 third down conversion, 1 red zone rep, 1 block that springs a run. But it's also the kind of game where you don't want to get greedy and lose him longer. Shanahan saying, "We're not ruling him out," tells you they're playing the long game, while still keeping the punch ready if he can go. And it's also why the Crosby hypothetical keeps popping up. When teams smell a real window, they start thinking in extremes. How do we make the hard parts easier? How do we force 1 extra turnover? How do we win a game when the offense is human? A closer like Crosby is that answer, if it ever became real. Bottom line, this season has been defined by adversity, and the 49ers are still standing at 11-4 with a shot at the number 1 seed. Just 5 more wins to finish the job. But you already know the rule. This league only cares about your last game. So tell me, what would you prioritize right now? Health, seeding, or going all in for a championship move?